It's the one we've all been waiting for. Hikaru and Levy teamed up in a chess battle against Eric Hansen and Jordan van Forest. So the players can confer during the moves. Levy's on the mouse here as the weaker player. So's Eric Hansen. This is an Armageddon game because they couldn't be split in the two regular games, which means that here, after the first couple of moves, you'll see that Eric and Jordan are down on time by 5 minutes, right? But they only have to draw to get the win. Let's check this one out. Brilliancy on the way, but was it enough to clinch the game? So we see knight c3. All four horses developing into the board here now, and what I was just drawing there is the e4 push, also possible after g3. Now why am I showing this? Well, if black does this, the knight can find a home here. This would have been the same if it happened a move ago as well, and the pawn is tender as a barefoot on a shingle beach. That was one of the top comments I had the other day. And if queen e7, there's queen c2, intensifying pressure. If d5, you take and you're winning a pawn. So advancing, not so hot. So d5 played. It's a Sicilian, but with colours reversed, right? Bishop g2, and now there's a lot of theory with knight b6, and the bishop comes to e7, and castle. But bishop c5 is a modern kind of twist. That one more aggressively placed. Both players now castle, and d3, the main move, looks natural. But queen c2 from Hikaru and Levy. Hikaru saying to Levy at the time, this is the move I played in the candidates against Esipenko to help with my qualification. Now it runs straight into some knight jumps here. We'll stick with what was played in the game. Apparently queen e4, a good move for white in this position. But queen b1 played, passive, yes, but a3 on the way, then you unravel. However, knight d4 played, great move. Sacking a pawn if white wants to take, but that is a monster attack for black. The rook comes to the e-file, there's pressure on e2, the bishop's coming to f5 to hit the queen, the knights are both hopping, don't touch that pawn. So that's why knight takes here played after 3 minutes thought. Should you go a3, d3, e3, knight e1, none of them good. This was the way to go because you take away one of the attackers, you get knight e4, pick up a tempo on that bishop, and then go d3. Secure the structure with this lovely dromedary camel here. Look at the shape of that one. Nice hump on g3. Here's the neck. There's the camel's head. Not a Bactrian camel. They've got the two humps. Know your camels, right? So h6 now played. This is an important square. We get bishop d2, chases away this knight, which centralizes. Queen c2, re-entering the game. Rook e8 and rook fe1, keeping an eye on this tender point. Tender as a, I don't know. So now we see a5, keeping an eye on the queenside expansion, which is coming soon. a3 played. Queen e7 developing, rook ac1, natural stuff, and c6. Very, very harmonious pawn structure. Sometimes the bishop slides, sometimes knight c7, b5. Now we see h3 played, ruining the dromedary camel, right? But setting up an extended bathtub. Lovely stuff, and stopping bishop g4, looking at that e2 pawn. So bishop f5 played instead, knight c5, what could be more natural? Rook ad8, finally completing the full development of the black forces here, keeping an eye on these central points, and b4. Classic expansion in the English, pawn recaptures. And now I love the move that the computer suggests. It just wants us to drop back here with bishop c8 now that the rook's entered the game, and then go knight c7, b5, real classy positional stuff, right? But h5 played instead, a more aggressive idea, and the game starts to explode into life. Queen c4 pressures this pawn here, so that's why captures was played, because you want to go knight c7 to b5, open the rook's defense, but then you drop b7. Queen no longer laterally defends. So takes first played. Queen recaptures. Don't take the ladies off the board. Pawn recaptures and look at the backwards b7 pawn. Very pleasant endgame for white, plus the bishop pair here. So queen d7 played instead, targeting h3. The king covers here, and now knight c7. Very classy maneuver. Coming into b5, then looking at the weakened c3 square, and this pawn is now covered. So what do they do here, Levy and Hikaru, to mix up the game? Well, this is nice. Levy comes up with it, bishop f3. Yes, you can take this pawn, the black player, but I'm going to take this pawn. The computer likes g6. But okay, knight b5 played, also a good move. These pawns traded for one another, and queen g5, bringing the lady into the danger zone. This bishop drops back. Now bishop f3, clearing the h-file. King g2, rook h1 wanted, go for a checkmating attack down here. So bishop d5, fights against it. King g2, carrying on with the plan. And now watch this. The queen on d7, like a lady looking for a friend, slides over to e7. Hey, do you want to go for a movie? Catch some food? I think I said that the wrong way around. And this one's like, nah, I don't. Please, I need a friend. Nah. That one does not want to play. The white queen's having none of it. Wants to stay on the board. Checkmate the black king, right? And now f6 is played to give that king some room to escape. So rook c5, activating, eyeballing all sorts of stuff across the 5th rank. Now you can start with queen f5 immediately. But king f7 played. The computer, not such a big fan, but the lines are very subtle. You know, king f1, king g1, top moves here. But we'll stick with the game. This rook brought to the c file, and now queen f5. Classic case of cross swords. And I'm not talking about two blokes sharing a urinal or urinal. I've never known how to say that word. What I'm talking about here is a tactical threat. Say you go rook c2, for example. Well, now you take with check, pawn recaptures, and d3 drops. This is a problem. So we see king g1, rook h8 played, going for the attack down there. Takes with check, pawn recaptures, forced by the way. If this one goes, you drop the rook. If queen goes, you take here, you get a line like this. Still a rook down, so pawn takes played, queen f4, but now black ducks the exchange because queen h3, and it is a very dangerous attack. Queen f3 forced to cover this square, and now there is a winning tactical shot, but it's very, very difficult to see. Combines a couple of different ideas. Want to pause and look for it? Then please do so. Otherwise, we'll crack on with the show, right? The move to play is knight to c3. Now, it looks stupid because bishop takes, right? And you're just winning a pawn, you're dominating the c-file. What's next? But this is the move. Check, king goes, now check down here. All of this a little swish and sook technique in between moves, and once the king's driven away, now you take here. You interrupted the connection between the rooks. Very, very nice tactical stuff, and okay, you're in exchange ahead. Game over. But missed. Instead, check was played. Now the king goes, queen h3 check, but this queen blocks. The queen slides back. Now the guys are getting down on time, Jordan and Eric. So bishop f4, converging on c7 with the rooks, threatening to win the queen with the skewer after the knight captures. So king g6 runs from that threat, and now look at the d5 pawn. It's weak. Hikaru and Levy want to gang up on it, so they first go bishop c7, distracting the rook, then taking the pawn, and here it's so tricky. What the computer wants to do is take here and actually give the queen for rook and minor piece, but white's still better. But queen e8 played, and now there's this exceptional activation. It is a brilliancy when you run it with the game review because you're leaving a piece on prise for a deadly attack. So what move do you think that was played here by Levy and Hikaru Kind of did that in the wrong order. I think you're meant to say what move did they play and then pause, rather than pause and then say it. It's been a long day. I was streaming Titled Tuesday earlier, right? All sorts going on. Community coming soon as well. Launching this Friday. I may as well tell you now, right, while I'm taking a pause. So excited about that one. Been working tirelessly around the clock, right? Pouring hours into it. Lining up guest speakers. We've got Sam Shankland coming on. I'm working on others. I want to make it the absolute best chess community space going in the entire universe. Launching this Friday. Get that one in the diaries. We will crack on with the game here. The move that was played was the Brilliancy Queen to F3, leaving an entire bishop hanging. Now what's the point? Well, you check and it's a brutal attack. So King H6, this is the fastest way to lose. You chop the rook, knight recaptures, then you take here. You're threatening to shut the trap, right? That's checkmate. So you can stop it with G5, but it's temporary. You get this kind of king chase down the board. Stupid moves only will stave off the mate. Something like this comes on the board here. And running back here, if you don't come to H6, you come to F7, well, similar ideas. This time you win a knight, attack rages on. You even start picking up the queen in some lines. So that is the big attack coming, and why the piece actually can't be touched. The guys recognize it. They go rook h6, trying to activate the rook, then run away. Bishop f4, killer move here, covering this, but then also kicking this. Then the attack comes, but missed. Instead we get check. King h7 played, and now rook d7. Mate in one, threatened. So the queen covers, and now simple stuff. Great technique. The ladies come off the board. King recaptures, and rook c5. You've got to move the knight, or take the bishop and go into this end game, which is horrible. This pawn dropping, it's just dead lost. So instead the knight moves this way, but now this pawn drops. Equally terrible endgame, but you do get check, and king g2, and knight takes on e2, a desperate last trick. You take my rook, I take your rook, but they've run into the Zwischenzug, and obviously they whisper it into the mic like top professionals, Levy and Hikaru. They check the king. Here we see resignation, because as soon as the king moves, you're picking up the rook, you're simply an entire rook ahead. Game over, right? Nothing to be done. So this the final position. Hikaru and Levy advance to the next round. Do smash subscribe if you haven't yet done so to never miss a future video. Community coming Friday, buzz in for that one. And for another epic game of chess, check out the video on the screen. Thanks very much for watching, and see you soon.